Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Crown Stag voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. So in today's episode, what I want to talk to you about is giving your clients the audition that they definitely don't want and how it can actually help you secure that gig properly. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Okay, so the reason I wanted to make this video is it will be a bit odd to hear, but I really want to highlight the importance of showing your client exactly what they don't want to hear and how this can genuinely help you secure the job if you're auditioning for it, or if you're doing a guided session or a directed session from the client to get your element into that audition and make sure that that's what goes out live to whatever the client's end production is. Weird sentence. So let me tell you about a couple of things that have happened this week. I was working on one of the pay-to-play platforms, and I got a job that came through that said, we want a really inspirational delivery of this script. It's about a 300-400 word script. Inspirational is what they want. They wanted people to feel like, God, things are really... It was quite a heavy subject matter. This is quite dark and deep. We want people to be inspired to go and do what they wanted to do in this script. Great. That was my direction. I went away and I recorded this really inspirational tone. Wasn't quite like this. So that went off to the client. The client came back to me very quickly and went, that was perfect. Wonderful. Love it when something's perfect. What they then said is, we'd like you to do it completely differently. Could you come back to us and now give us a really conversational tone for this? So we still want it to be inspirational, but now we want it to be conversational and a little bit faster as well. Like you're speaking to your friend at the pub, but conversational, inspirational. Okay, right, I can deal with that. We go back, we re-record. Client comes back. Absolutely perfect, Neil. But we need it to be about 25% less. Could you do it quite flat and keep it still quite inspirational, but we kind of want to underline the real seriousness of what we're talking about. So could you actually just do the whole script flat? Sure. Okay. And bear in mind, like I say, 300, 400 word script, something like that, you go back and you do it again. And I delivered from starting off of this really inspirational tone to just being a little bit flat. And ultimately, the flat version is what they wanted. Now, that comes down a little bit to what the client doesn't know that they want. They don't know what it's going to sound like until they hear it. Some people just say certain words or they click on certain elements within the selection criteria on these play-to-play platforms. So I tell you that story to tell you this story. I then, the next day, was doing an advert for one of the big drinks companies that have a red label and a black liquid. I'll just say that. So I'm doing a recording for them, and this one was actually, it was really quite fun, but it really highlighted the giving them what they don't want. So we go in, we do the audition, and they wanted this to be a little bit over the top. No problem, did it, a little bit over the top, they really liked it. They then said, okay, we'll try and do one that's maybe a little bit calmer, again, a little bit more conversational, and I've got bells ringing of what's going on. Okay, no problem. And I suggested to the client, shall we do that take? Absolutely fine. But let's give them one that's on the opposite end of that spectrum. Let's give them something that's really over the top. And they said, yeah, sure, okay. And we did that, and I went, like, stupidly over the top on the delivery of everything that I was saying. And I said to the client, I said, look, you're going to pass this on to the end drinks company to get signed off. You're going to show them all three. Here's the version that they don't want. And this is what I said to the client. This is the version they definitely don't want. It's the way over the top version. But you give them that because it kind of highlights to people, again, who don't know what they're not really aware of listening to, what bad sounds like. So when you're going in for your auditions, and if you've got the opportunity to do more than one take on an audition, this is what I would kind of recommend you do. Follow the original instructions that you get, give them a variation on that might be a little bit calmer, might be a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more conversational, depends on what they're doing, and give them something that's just outlandishly wrong, okay? And it does sound a little bit weird if you've only got one shot to get in there, but if they like the sound of your voice and they can see that you're doing something with a little bit of range and they definitely hear what they don't want, it kind of contrasts quite nicely to what you do want to deliver and what you do want them to select as your audition or as your final piece, because they know what wrong sounds like. When they don't know what wrong sounds like and they've only got one version, they go, oh, well, that was okay, but I didn't really quite hear everything I wanted to hear. And then the next audition is what they're comparing you against. That then becomes the problem, because you've got that one shot. If you've got the opportunity to give them more than one, and I realise that not everyone does, especially if you're on the pay-to-play platforms, but if you do get the opportunity to give more than one version of an audition, I would always say make sure that the person that they are comparing themselves to, or rather, make sure that the person that they are comparing you to is you. That is your best opportunity to secure that job rather than being compared to other people. Why did you lose out on it? Well, someone else is better than me. Fine. Why did you lose out on it? Because I didn't give them the full range of what I possibly could. And that's the advice for this week. I do try to, wherever I can, give 3 auditions for every audition I get if I'm in that capability to do so, because it does give them range and spectrum of not only what I can deliver, but also giving them an opportunity to select not just the best version, but possibly the version they hadn't thought about yet. It can be really emotive. A really good example of this would be if you've heard your favourite song and you're like, yeah, fantastic. And then you hear the acoustic version and you're like, where was this all my life? And then you hear someone else's cover of it and you're like, Jesus, gubbins, not listening to that. That's kind of what we're going for here. You want to give them that amazing audition that is exactly what they need, with a variation and one version that just sucks, for lack of a better term. And if you find that remotely helpful, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. I'm always quite active on there. And if you have liked this video or any video on my channel, I really do appreciate the likes and subscribes and the notifications. Activate them all, because the YouTube gods, they will attack me if you don't do it. Please, save me. I need that help. And remember, look, you can, I promise, be a voiceover artist. This is the time to get into it. This is the time to do it. And these are the lessons that are really going to help you. I'll see you in the next video.